going to do something different this go. I'm going to recommend 3 movies in a choose your own adventure style thing, all in honor of Martin Mcdonagh's Wild Horse 9. And we're just going to go in most recent to least most recent order. So, number 1, 2022's The Banshees of Inisherin. It is a tragedy comedy. There's a weird portmanteau word for it that I refuse to say. It has funny moments. I wouldn't say it ends funny. This is the darkest, the most disturbing of the 3 films I'm going to recommend. It is set in Ireland toward the end of the Irish Civil War, and while that's not necessarily important to the plot, the relevance of the fact that the drama between the characters is going on while that is there is very important, because there's a lot of, family on family violence, I guess you could say. All 3 of these movies have Colin Farrell in them. The Penguin. That's obviously the image that comes to your mind when I say Colin Farrell. He's one of 2 main characters in The Banshees. I really don't want to talk about it too much, but there is a gory thing that happens involving one character to punish another, cuts off his fingers. So that is something you should be aware of, probably going into it. But it's essentially the implosion of a friendship where one character knows why the friendship is ending and the other character does not. And that tension, the character who doesn't, who wants his best friend back, and the character who just doesn't see the point. That's the driving force of the movie. And people radically are transformed through the violence and psychological warfare that happens over the course of this movie. It's really good. It's really dark. I don't recommend it if you are squeamish at all, but it's a beautifully well-made movie. The cinematography is great. I believe it's filmed on location in Ireland. And again, Martin wrote and directed all 3 of these. So it's a really singular vision coming from a very gifted storyteller. I've had several friendships in my life that have ended not in this kind of violent, dramatic way, but where I was pushed out of people's lives, and I, to this day, don't know why for most of them. And so it's particularly emotionally resonant for me because of that. Number 2 is 2012's 7 Psychopaths. And this one's kind of the happiest, I would say. It definitely has tragic elements to it as well, but this is kind of a comedy and a tragedy. I'm not even sure it's a tragedy. It just has dramatic elements going on for it. And the ending is kind of a bit melancholic. The ending is kind of everyone kind of gets what they were trying to get, but it doesn't necessarily give them what they thought it was going to give them, which is very realistic and even funny in a way, in kind of a dry, ironic type way. The main character, well, maybe not the main character, but the linchpin character is a writer who is trying to write a screenplay about 7 psychopaths, and he's got a buddy who really wants to write it with him, but he can't quite come out and say that he wants to write with him. The buddy is played by Sam Rockwell. It's got a very Pulp Fiction vibe to it. I actually prefer it to Pulp Fiction quite a bit, because I'm not a big fan of Pulp Fiction.
I think it's really kind of cool, Pulp Fiction. I mean, I like this movie a lot. I don't know if Martin loves it as much as I do. I love it. I have some great fond memories of me and Colin and Chris in a bar in Venice shooting a scene, and in Joshua Tree, and it was freezing. And one night we were shooting, me and Colin, we had all this dialogue and we couldn't even enunciate. It was so cold. Yeah, it was really fun. I had my dog out there. It was really wild.
But that kind of it's chaotic. There's a lot of thread lines going all over the place. Sometimes as the audience, your perception of when things are happening isn't fully accurate. And there's a lot of, oh, this is really convenient from a writing narrative perspective, but Martin Mcdonagh is originally a playwright, and I think that that stuff comes from him being a playwright. So it never feels cliche or tacky. It's just when you get to resolution, it's like, oh, okay, this was obviously where this was going. This convenience was obviously factored in, but it doesn't feel cheap. It just feels like, of course I knew that's where that was going. I knew it all along. And the third one is 2008's In Bruges, which I would say is a good mix of comedy and tragedy. It definitely has a tragic but ambiguous end. You can kind of like decide for yourself how you want the ending to be. This was Martin McDonagh's directorial debut. He got Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. Brendan Gleeson is in Banshees as well. He's the other main character. He and Colin have really good chemistry. And they are two hitmen who have just come off a job that succeeded but also went wrong because Colin's character accidentally did something. He's going through like an existential depressive crisis about it. He's supposed to be being trained to be this hitman, and he really messed up. It's weird to not be cursing, recommending, like making a video recommending these movies, because they're just filled with vulgarity. I hear all the Irish people cursing in my head. Ray Fiennes is also in Bruges, and one of my favorite roles that he plays. This one is very play-like in that thematically it feels like a play. There's a lot of religious iconography and imagery in it. They're visiting these historical places in Bruges, which of course, has all this Christian relevance to it, and the job that they were on before the movie begins was to kill a priest. So there's a lot of meditation on limbo and hell and heaven and moral codes and ethics and which crimes are permissible and which aren't. And it feels the most like a play. I don't know which one's my favorite. Seven Psychopaths is the most fun. In Bruges probably is the best watch for me from an artistic standpoint. And then Banshees is probably the best film, but it's very difficult to watch. So I would recommend going with Seven Psychopaths for the ease of it. It's also got Woody Harrelson and Christopher Walken in it. Just great. Tom Waits is in it. Just great cast. I think that might be not his most personal cultural one, Martin Mcdonagh, I mean. But since the main character is a writer, I think that some of his own emotions might get imbued into the character. Maybe he was working through some things when he made it. So that's definitely the one I think is the most fun. And, top recommendation. All three of these films, though, are filled with people who are not good people. Like, there is a lot of racism and bigotry casually thrown about in these films. So if you're a person who, goes to sit down and you don't want to be exposed to that because it's just going to upset you and you're not going to be able to enjoy yourself, maybe don't watch these. Banshees isn't as bad as the other two, probably because it was made in 2022. Second Psychopaths has quite a bit, but there are just some weird things in Bruges. I almost didn't even do a video this weekend. I'm already a day behind on my filming schedule because I have a hole in my throat. Doctors call them ulcers, and it really hurts. So I just sped through that real quick. There's a lot of thoughts I'm not saying because I don't feel like it. I'm in pain. Oh, I almost forgot. In Bruges was such a big cultural moment that the people of Bruges, Belgium, request that you not come visit. They have such an influx of tourists coming because of the movie that their architecture in their cities are actually being destroyed by all the people coming in because they don't have the infrastructure to take care of that many tourists. It was supposed to be this little hole-in-the-wall place, and now, a ton of people go there all the time. because they've seen the movie and the movie meant so much to them. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of, don't go to Bruges, Belgium, but maybe that's, evidence that the movie was popular enough that, there's a reason why all these people are making a trip to go see where the movie was after they've seen the movie. That's what I'm saying. If I'm saying anything at all, which I'm not, I'm just rambling, and I should just stop now, but I'm not capable of stopping for some reason, and it's just, it's really